mention my motherfucking name, I disrespect you, make you throw your motherfucking life away. Chump. You a chump to me, nigga. You and your clique are mob ties, nigga. Y'all can suck my dick. Let me tell you something, homie. I didn't have no show. I was working with the same organization that works against you niggas. James Prince got a house full of them niggas, them sex offender peddlers. Cause the FBI want the Houston Police Department and James Prince too. Why you think Houston police keep turning the other way on all these murders, nigga? How do you think James Prince can get a police report, nigga, to an open murder investigation that includes his son? And none of the stuff is redacted. None of the information on this none of this names is blotted. How can James Prince get access to that, nigga? So, nigga, he working with the police, I'm working with the government, nigga. Come on out here, nigga. Bring your bitch ass on out here, nigga. We ready for war with anybody, anybody, nigga. I ain't just talking. You bitch ass niggas scared of James Prince. Fuck James Prince. Fuck his daughter, his kids, his organization, nigga. If you a mob, I'm a nation, nigga.
Charleston White is at it again, and this time he's aiming straight at J. Prince Jr. and his mob ties movement.
Run up on me, James Prince. I'm gonna go to war with the goddamn police for all this shit I got in here, nigga. What's wrong with you, nigga? I can go to war with police. What's wrong with you, bitch ass? I don't give about nothing, nigga. You bitch ass niggas, James Prince, mob ties, nigga, and sister nigga, come go to war with a nigga ready for war.
Charleston White is back at it again. And this time, he's unloading on J. Prince Jr. and that whole mob ties movement in Houston with zero hesitation. From the jump, Charleston steps on the gas and goes straight at Houston's so-called check-in culture, calling it out for what he believes it is: fear dressed up as tradition. He says the whole idea of rappers, athletes, or celebrities having to tap in with the princes for safety is a myth that's been holding the industry hostage for years. And he's not whispering any of this. He's shouting that he's not checking in with anybody, no matter who they are, period. Charleston questions how real this protection is if chaos still breaks out in the same city where everyone's supposed to be covered when they tap in. He points to the heartbreaking loss of Takeoff as the example everyone remembers and asks the question that makes the room go quiet. If checking in guarantees safety, why do people still lose their lives in Houston under this supposed watchful eye? That's the cut that slices straight through the heart of the system Charleston is challenging, and he knows exactly how hard it lands. He doesn't just hint at it. He flips the script and points directly at J. Prince Jr., saying the streets are watching everything and the old aura isn't hitting the same anymore. In Charleston's view, J. Prince Jr. isn't some untouchable boss. He's another figure leaning heavy on a reputation that's got more cracks than people want to admit. With his usual raw energy, Charleston laughs at the idea of needing a blessing to move around Houston, saying it looks like a permission slip in a city where freedom should be the vibe. He mocks the whole setup like it's a costume party. Big talk, bigger shadows, and not enough proof when it matters most. To Charleston, the mob ties image is a scare tactic with loud bark and weak bite, and he says that's why he refuses to play along.
J. Prince Jr. and mob ties, because they extort. See, J. Prince Jr. and them try to extort, but they don't come up. When them come up here, they be on their best behavior. When mob ties come up to Dallas, nigga, I was in DG with the homie.
He breaks down the danger of the check-in culture from a street-smart angle. The moment you bow down, you show fear, and fear attracts predators who test limits. According to him, when people sense weakness, they don't hand you mercy. They hand you problems, and no phone call or protection squad can always save you from that. He draws a hard line between respect and intimidation, saying real power doesn't beg to be acknowledged. It earns it without talking. Charleston says, when a name needs to force respect, the respect is already gone. And that's when people start asking what that name really stands for. He even clowns the idea of Houston being sacred ground for any crew, saying, if you gotta tell people to check in, then maybe the city ain't as safe as you make it sound, which hits like a hammer because it questions the entire foundation of what mob ties claims to represent. And let's be honest, Charleston knows how to stir up a room, an algorithm, and a city with the same sentence, and he's doing all three at once. By aiming his words right at J. Prince Jr., he's not just talking to one man, he's putting the Prince family legacy under a microscope that everyone can see. He dares them to respond, dares them to prove him wrong, and dares the culture to stop pretending that fear and respect are the same thing. Every line out of his mouth sounds like a challenge, like he's stress testing how much power Mob Ties really has left in 2025. But even with the heat, Charleston frames his argument like a case, mixing emotion with plain logic and moments people recognize from headlines and history. He says the streets are buzzing and social media is lit, and you can see it. Fans are split and timelines are loud, because this is the kind of conversation that never stays calm. Some folks ride with Charleston, saying he's the first one bold enough to say out loud what people have been whispering for years, and they're cheering like he just broke a glass ceiling. Others warn he's poking the wrong beast, that he's talking about legends who've had a strong presence in Houston for decades, and they say he's pushing boundaries that usually come with consequences. But Charleston keeps pushing the same point. If a system needs fear to function, it's not protection, it's pressure. And pressure bursts pipes when people stop being scared. Then he drills straight into what he sees as the hypocrisy. If Mob Ties truly runs Houston the way people claim, why does violence still erupt in the same spaces where artists supposedly checked in for protection? He doesn't call it a simple slip-up, he calls it a pattern, saying the branding is louder than the results, and that's where the trust starts to fall apart. He paints the whole thing like a stage play. The talk is tough, the photos look powerful, the room is full of important faces, but the outcomes don't match the promise when the lights go out. To Charleston, that's not respect, that's pageantry. And he says the streets always see through pageantry eventually. He says checking in isn't about honor or mutual respect anymore, it's a ritual that turned into a toll road, and he calls that extortion with a fancy label. He says the industry fell into a habit of calling intimidation tradition, and he's here to call it what it really looks like to a lot of people on the ground. He makes it clear he's not scared of J. Prince Jr., J. Prince Sr., or any name attached to that banner, and he stands on that with chest out like, what now? That kind of energy makes the internet explode, because when Charleston talks, he doesn't speak like a man trying to keep rooms cozy. He speaks like a man trying to crack them open. He keeps hammering the same truth he sees. Real power is quiet and consistent, not loud and forced, and the second you need to demand it, something's already off. He says the moment people started asking what Mob Ties really stands for, the aura dimmed, the myth faded, and the grip loosened. To him, the brand got bigger than the backbone. And when that happens, reputation starts running on fumes until somebody calls it out. He returns to the most painful example because it won't stop echoing. Takeoff's death, a wound the culture still hasn't healed from, becomes his evidence that image without function is just smoke.
Yo, it's dangerous. It's a lot of places that's dangerous. But you can go as a black rapper, a black celebrity, and have fun in these towns, long as you don't check in to J. Prince Jr. J. Prince Jr. is the boy. Everything happened around him. He the boy. Not the city of Houston. J. Prince Jr. is the boy trying to play gangster mob, homie, really discrediting his father's name and legacy. Couldn't be private kids' school, so why would you check into the private kids' private school? Private school, homie. Now, Jazz is way more player from what I hear. But J. Prince Jr. go beat up the bitches, stick his stick his long fingernails when they walk by the strip club, bite their booty, all kind of shit. He an unruly motherfucker. You done heard the rumor, man. Come on, homie. Yeah, all the girls in the strip club say he got long fingernails, be trying to stick his fingers up in their pussy.
He basically paints Mob Ties as nothing more than a scare tactic, and he laughs at the idea of anyone needing their protection to move around safely.
Stay away from J. Prince Jr., you'll be all right in Houston. But if he tricked you in thinking you gotta come be with them, they go. Remember they was shooting the fake dice on. I had him on recording telling the story. Right after the day, he telling me how Takeoff was quiet and the Quavo was doing all the talking. So I know one of them called to come shoot the bad dice on. So if you like to gamble, yeah, you go get caught up with Boosie and all them with the J. It's homie, yeah, nah. But if you stay away from the crowd and you just with who you with, and you can have fun in H-Town. It's a party town. Have fun till the sun come up. And it's a player town. Homie, Houston have always been a player town. Don't get me wrong, they get gangster, but they only get gangster when they have to. Don't look around trying to be gangster and force gangsterism out.
He says, real protection doesn't look like that night. And that line rings heavy because it slices right through the heart of the claim that checking in equals safety. He argues that when someone that beloved can be lost under a supposed umbrella, the umbrella might not be real cover. And that's a scary thought that forces people to rethink the system. Charleston then widens the lens. He says this isn't only about Houston or one family, it's about hip-hop's bigger relationship with fear, image, and access. He says a lot of people confuse being plugged in with being protected, and that confusion keeps a cycle going where artists trade autonomy for false comfort. He pushes the idea that artists shouldn't be afraid to move freely, that booking a show, visiting a friend, or shooting a video shouldn't require anyone to offer offerings to unseen gatekeepers. He tells celebrities, athletes, influencers, and upcoming artists alike, walk into Houston free, you don't need nobody's permission. And that's a direct challenge to the whole idea of any city being locked down by one crew. From there, Charleston speaks on respect like it's a currency that only circulates when it's earned, not demanded. And he says respect shows up in how people feel when your name is mentioned, not just how they act in front of you. He explains that fear can look like respect from far away, but up close, it's shaky and temporary, and it evaporates when the pressure lifts. He claims that when people stopped being scared to question the brand started shrinking. And that's the real reason the debates are louder than ever right now. Charleston makes clear he's not calling for chaos. He's calling for clarity. And he wants the industry to stop normalizing threats as culture, because that muddies the meaning of community. He says safety for artists should be built on relationships, event planning, proper security, and community partnerships, not some vague idea that one call to one person suddenly creates a force field. He even talks solutions with simple game. Work with venues that have clean track records, pay for professional security, and stop acting like a handshake is bulletproof, because it's not, and grown people know that. Then he turns the mic to the audience and challenges the fans too.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. But I did see the mob ties in the J Prince Rant too, bro.
Man, nigga, ain't nobody scared of them niggas.
I'm saying like what, but like where does that come from? Where does that come from?
Because somebody asked the question. We not afraid of J Prince up here in Dallas. Homie, he ain't had no influence up here. His sons, none of that shit. My nigga right there, a nigga that come through and try to do something. Nigga, we some big dogs up here. Nah, homie, them niggas only big down now. Mob ties don't exist up here because when the police kill some, where's mob ties? When we need murder solved in the community and these niggas kill babies, where is mob ties? When the women is getting beat and raped, where is mob ties, homie? Where's mob ties for the community program? Nigga, fuck mob ties, nigga. Harder we working for these kids up here. Don't bring no motherfucking mob ties up to me, nigga. Them niggas don't do a goddamn thing.
He says fans can help by not cheering on intimidation and by demanding that artists move with structure, not superstition. He says if the culture starts applauding smart, safe practices instead of loud, risky theater, the whole scene levels up and fewer families end up grieving. Charleston also calls out how the internet can pour gasoline on the wrong flames by rewarding tough talk and punishing any show of caution. And he says that has to change if people really want safety to be the standard. He argues that people clown caution until tragedy hits, and then everybody wants answers, which is backwards if the goal is to keep people alive and well. At this point, the reactions are blazing. Some folks are saluting the honesty and calling it overdue, while others call Charleston reckless and accuse him of disrespecting a legacy with deep roots in Houston. But Charleston stands tall on his point that you can honor history and still demand honesty. And he says honest conversation is how real growth happens in any city. He claims the aura around mob ties isn't what it used to be because the foundation was built on fear, and fear fades when people find their voice. To him, the throne looks empty, not because no one's sitting there, but because the seat no longer means what it used to mean to the people watching. He frames this moment as a reset, the culture deciding what power, respect, and safety are going to look like moving forward. And he urges artists to choose freedom over fear every time. He even gives space to the critics by acknowledging that there's real history, real relationships, and real contributions tied to the Prince name, while still holding firm that nothing excuses violence, intimidation, or a ritual that doesn't deliver safety. That balance, recognizing legacy while rejecting fear, is the line Charleston tries to walk even as he talks with heat and blunt edges. He tells the world he's not here to be polite, he's here to be plain. And sometimes plain talk sounds like a dare because people aren't used to hearing it with this level of volume. He repeats the core, mob ties ain't saving nobody, and says if that's the truth, then the check-in culture needs to die out for good so artists can move on their own terms without looking over their shoulders. From there, he lays out a picture of what a safer scene could look like. City-to-city networks of promoters and venue owners with clear standards, backed by professional teams whose job is security, not celebrity proximity. He suggests artists invest in their own teams, not borrow muscle, because ownership of your safety is part of ownership of your career. He calls on cities to protect the talent they invite, not outsource protection to rumor or ritual, because a real entertainment economy needs real structure. Then Charleston tightens the lens back to Houston and says no city is owned by any single name. A city belongs to the people, the fans, the families, and the future generation building their dreams block by block.
I can go hire me some white boy sheriffs to patrol me, but I'd much rather get the black security company. But if I got to check in because they gonna be dropping tips on me, now I go get the white boy security. You don't make them police check in. So no, that's what I mean by I don't respect nothing like that. You just making your people check in. That ain't how the mob work. The mob make everybody pay a price. The judge, the police chief, the police that run the beat, everybody got to pay. So that's why I don't respect it, homie. And I hate, it's like Whack 100 done trick Mr. Prince, man. Mr. Prince normally don't talk.
According to him, checking in isn't respect, it's extortion with a fancy label. He doubles down by saying he's not afraid of the Princes or anyone linked to mob ties.
He don't have that mystique to him no more. Now he on camera explaining to this punk ass, yeah, so now he don't look like the big bad Prince no more. He look nervous at times. He look like Whack getting the best of him. He don't look strong no more, cause he done let Whack trick him. But I know, and he know, the feds done rattled his cage with Whack, and they ain't never been able to rattle his cage. Whack 100 is with the FBI. That's why J. Prince seems so nervous. He know that nigga with them people. He know it. That's why he seems so like he's shaking. He know it. I know it and Mr. Prince know it. And the FBI know we know. So, I just hate the great Prince, man.
He says when fear leaves the equation, creativity shows up louder, and Houston deserves to be known for greatness, not gatekeeping. And while his words are sharp, he keeps them focused on the idea, not on personal threats, reminding everyone that conversation about culture is how culture changes for the better. He circles back to the split reaction because it defines the moment. Half the timeline says he's speaking truth, the other half says he's crossing lines. And both sides are loud because the topic hits nerves in every direction. But Charleston doesn't flinch. Not at backlash, not at rumors, not at warnings. And he says his tone won't change because he believes fear-based systems only fall when someone refuses to bow. He points out that people once thought that's just how it is, but that mindset always breaks when enough people decide they're done with it. He argues that this isn't about disrespecting a family, it's about protecting a whole culture from routines that don't keep anyone safe when it counts. He throws one more challenge at the screen. If the system really works, show us the proof, show us the safety, show us the results, because the culture is asking for receipts. He says the new generation of artists wants clarity, not ceremony. They want to know the venue's security plan, not who they have to call to be blessed in. He believes the future belongs to those who can move city to city with professional teams, strong logistics, and a fan-first approach, not those who rely on mystery to move a crowd. Then Charleston fires off his final volley. He says all the respect in the world doesn't matter if the name attached to it makes people think of bloodshed and fear instead of safety and leadership. He asks, what's the value of a name if the first thing people picture is tragedy? And that question stings because it's bigger than any single moment in time. He calls this a turning point, a moment where hip-hop has to decide whether it wants power that protects or power that performs. And he says the choice should be obvious if people care about the artist and the audience. Fans jump back in, some calling Charleston the voice of truth, others saying he's reckless. But either way, the conversation is alive, and he's in the center of it by design. He makes it clear that he won't apologize, won't bend, and won't trade honesty for comfort, even if it means standing in the storm while the comments go crazy. And he says, if telling the truth means check-in culture dies, then let it die. Because nothing in this industry should grow on fear when it can grow on structure, respect, and real community. Love him or hate him, Charleston knows how to keep the culture talking, and by calling out J. Prince Jr. by name, he forced a long look at the mirror the scene usually avoids. He pulled down the curtain, pointed at the machinery, and asked the question nobody likes to answer. What does real power look like in hip-hop when safety, dignity, and freedom come first? He leaves the room with three heavy questions. What is power without protection? What is respect without choice? And what is a city without freedom for the people who bring the music to life? He says Mob Tie's aura is fading because fear no longer holds the same grip, and he dares the world to admit the myth is cracking, not out of hate, but out of hunger for something better. At the end of the day, Charleston's rant isn't just about one man or one family. It's about changing the weather in the culture so the next generation doesn't inherit storms they never asked for. He wants the industry to trade intimidation for infrastructure, and he wants fans to cheer for safety the same way they cheer for chart toppers because both protect the people who make the music. He says this is the moment to choose growth over games, and he's betting the culture is ready for that choice, even if it takes time for everyone to catch up. So what do you think? Is Charleston White saying what needed to be said, or is he going too far by calling out mob ties like this in public view? Drop your take in the comments, let the world know where you stand, and keep the conversation real because this one touches power, pride, and protection all at once. Before you bounce, hit that like, smash that subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown because we're keeping it raw and focused every time. Share this with your people, spread the word, and keep the discussion alive because change moves faster when everybody's tapped in for the right reasons. This is StarBuzz Daily. Salute to the supporters, respect to the listeners, and we'll catch you on the next one with more truth, more insight, and more heat.